In this quick video, we're going to be discussing whether the bottom is in for Bitcoin or if what we just saw was the local top. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So let's jump right into the Bitcoin price action. If we take a look at this chart, you can see that after the ceasefire announcement came out yesterday between Iran and the US, Bitcoin got a very nice move to above $72,000. Now, 72K is a massive liquidity zone that we've been talking about on the channel for quite some time. But ultimately, we are still within the exact same range. So if the bulls really want to push Bitcoin higher here, it has to stem from around this zone, and I'll explain why. First and foremost, after the move yesterday, we came back down and retested the value area high of this existing range, which is this yellow line, held it as support, and then got another move up, sweeping some upside liquidity before rolling over once more. As I'm recording this video, we are hovering right around that value area high once again. And this range is starting to look very, very similar to what occurred here when I added to my existing Bitcoin short at around $97,000. And then again here at $74,500 at these tariff capitulation lows, which we've discussed on the channel time and time again. So if Bitcoin just continues to chop around here and we end up losing the value area high, I would suspect that we will ultimately already start our descent. Now, does this mean we're going to break down below $60,000 as I've been talking about for literally weeks now? Maybe not. Maybe we just continue to chop around. Ultimately, it is very, very frustrating price action. I get it. I've been in my trades, and at this point in time, you can see that my Bitcoin short is currently looking very, very good. Although I have to admit, I entered another Bitcoin short with a little bit less capital the other day, and that one did get stopped out, losing 1% of my trading portfolio. When it comes to trading, you have to remember that losses are part of the game. But my bigger short trades remain exactly the same. This one I've secured already over $300,000. However, I am anticipating this to be a far more profitable trade if we are to get a big move to the downside. So at this point in time, you'll notice that we're hovering here. We do not want to lose the value area high, or I should say the bulls most certainly do not want to lose the value area high. My base case has been the same through and through. And this is just another move to the top of the existing range, grabbing that upside liquidity around those local highs. And something that's extremely interesting is that if we take an anchored VWAP from $97,000 to where we are today, you'll notice that that's also the point where we got rejected. So if I put my anchored VWAP all the way up here, it's this light blue line, and then we zoom in to today's price action, we got 2 wicks above the level, ultimately getting rejected, coinciding perfectly with the previous local high. So this is always going to be a very tough zone for Bitcoin to break through. We need some heavy spot buying. And if no one is buying Bitcoin at these levels, well, you guessed it, we will probably move lower from here. Now, I also wanted to bring this to your attention because we're now retesting the bottom of this supposed bear flag. Now, we know that in bear markets, Bitcoin likes chopping to the upside, creating some downside liquidity, and then dropping further, destroying all of the longs. This could be another scenario. However, it is chopping around a little bit too much, and a lot of people were expecting this breakdown to already occur, myself included. So we have to see how the price action develops. This could just be another fake out, grabbing that local liquidity before potentially moving lower. But my higher time frame analysis remains exactly the same. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting in my shorts. I'm happy with my shorts, content with my overall positioning in this market because I also hold some spot Bitcoin. So whatever happens, I stand to benefit from it. Although my base case is that we will still be moving lower out of here, irrespective of what happens between Iran and the US. As I've said time and time again, the charts come first. Speaking of which, the war escalations are not looking too great. We had that supposed ceasefire, but then shortly after, Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline carrying 7 million barrels of crude oil per day got hit. And on top of this, Iran came out and said that they will withdraw from the ceasefire agreement if Israel continues to attack Lebanon. We saw that there were some more attacks even after this ceasefire agreement. And to add fuel to the fire once more, the White House backs Israel, reiterating that Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire agreement. So, did we even get a ceasefire? Doesn't seem like it. At this point in time, Iran's Speaker of the Parliament released a statement claiming that 3 clauses of their 10-point proposal have been violated by the US and Israel. The first clause of the 10-point proposal has been violated regarding a ceasefire in Lebanon. Then the entry of a drone into Iranian airspace also was a clear violation. And then supposedly the US's denial of Iran's right to enrichment is a violation, but we knew that the US would never agree to this either. So I'm not sure what actually came out of this. All we saw was a nice move to the upside by Bitcoin, by the stock market, assuming that the ceasefire was a go, and now everyone seems to be getting targeted once more. Again, I just trade the price action that's right in front of me. And at this point in time, we tapped into a very high liquidity cluster where a lot of shorts were currently piled in. As you know, I've continuously shorted this market from higher, and I will continue to do so because I am expecting that Bitcoin and the overall crypto market will continue to break down even on relief rallies. So the higher time frame picture for me remains exactly the same. Once Bitcoin taps into these levels that you can see on the screen here, I will slowly start dollar cost averaging from a spot portfolio perspective. Until then, I am still leaning short after grabbing that upside liquidity, which you can see now that on the 7-day time frame, there is way more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. If you want to know how I am moving in this market, whether we go up or down, what trades I am taking, remember that you do have the first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram after clicking this link, I'd be more than happy to onboard you into my free group where I share all of my own personal trades. Look, we need to understand that the stock market also got a very nice rally. So if, for whatever reason, stocks can hold above their bull market support band, and this isn't just a bearish backtest, well, this would suggest that Bitcoin can also climb up a little bit higher. You have to remain open to all possibilities. That is one of the key rules of trading. So if we start getting rejected here, that could be the point in time where Bitcoin starts experiencing a much more severe rejection. And just a quick update on the Strait of Hormuz, because supposedly there was going to be free passage starting today for a 2-week period. Well, Iran has told mediators it will be limiting the number of ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz to around 12 per day and impose tolls under the ceasefire. This is a sharp reversal from last night's statements from President Trump claiming a complete opening of the strait. Today, just 4 ships thus far have passed through the Strait of Hormuz, the fewest of any day in April. So this doesn't necessarily sound positive. The US is still pushing publicly for a free and open strait, but it's clear that Iran is not showing a willingness to loosen its grip. At the end of the day, the markets just want clarity, and this is far from it. When there's a bunch of uncertainty in the markets, it tends to not be the greatest environment for risk assets to rise. And the last thing I want to take you through in today's video, taking a look at the social risk, you can see that we're all the way down to the bottom here. No one is really interested in crypto, so if you're still tuning into the channel, congratulations, and bear with me over the next 2 days because I'm still using this crappy microphone. Once I have my new mic, the quality should be increasing again. And then the last thing that I want to bring to your attention, the Bitcoin percentage of supply and profit and loss. We've covered this on the channel before, but usually solid accumulation zones occur when these two levels cross, and we have not crossed quite yet. I will zoom in. As you can see, these levels have not crossed. And therefore, this, with the fact that we only had a 50% drop, with the fact that midterm years are typically bearish, not only for crypto, but also for stocks, leads me to believe that we will continue to go to the downside, even with this most recent pump for Bitcoin. So we'll have to see how the price action develops. It's very difficult to tell you what's going to happen in the more immediate short term, but my base case on the higher time frames remains exactly the same. So as we wrap up this video, to summarize again, if you're a bull, you want to see us hold on to this value area high for potential continuation, sweeping up some more upside liquidity. But, and it's a big but, there is a lot more downside liquidity at the moment, particularly on the 7 to 14 day time frame. So please be aware, do not FOMO into longs at the potential local top. And that sums up today's quick video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. We even did a live stream earlier today. So if you like this kind of content, don't miss out. Turn on that post notification bell as well as we try to grow in the bear market. I'll see you in the next video.